By normalizing and idealizing hegemonic masculinity through imagery and narrative, superhero media legitimizes male ascendancy, the oppression of women, and the degradation of men that do not conform to a version of masculinity based on machismo and dominance. Due to the tremendous popularity of superheroes in both comic books and film, these characters have become important symbols of maleness in Western culture. These characters have been predominantly male and have consequently presented a particular ideal of masculinity to audiences. This short documentary film will focus on evidence of hegemonic masculinity in superhero media and the impact it can have on young people in mainstream culture. It will primarily focus on the representation of women in relation to men and the attributes that are associated with being a real man. Hegemonic masculinity defines successful ways of being a man, and in the process other masculine styles are rendered inadequate or inferior. Connell claims that patriarchal power requires the construction of a hypermasculine ideal of toughness and dominance. Superheroes nearly always fit this model. Kimmel explains that from an early age boys hear things like "big boys don't cry, only girls do." They are shown various examples of an allegedly lesser kind of human being that they must avoid becoming, a female. Superhero media perpetuates the idea that females are grossly inferior to males. Some argue that superheroes present images of goodness, confidence, success, and competence that are positive attributes for young audiences to emulate. Also, the superhero genre has evolved to a point where women feature more directly into the plot. However, my documentary film will contest this. Boys are shown that being a successful male means showing authority and mastery, and that violence is a perfectly legitimate way of resolving conflict. Tales remain male-orientated, with emphasis placed on aggressive masculinity and the male body, its musculature and strength, and its violent capability. My main source of inspiration is Pecора's work on superheroes as a socializing agent. She claims superhero comics present a world where violence is used to solve problems, and women are reduced to damsels in distress, love interests, or mothers. This reinforces an ideology of violence and machismo to young readers. The narrative of my film will include visual depictions of the ways in which superhero media helps to reproduce the hegemonic masculinist culture in society. I will take images of film posters, billboards, comic books, film taglines, and possibly superhero films themselves to consolidate my arguments. This imagery will be used to engage the audience with the main topics of my short film: that superheroes are a socializing agent, showcasing men as tough and emotionless, and women as subordinate. I intend to show the audience the harmful implications of these gender stereotypes through a visual medium. Media studies have hardly considered masculinity in superhero media to be problematic or a historically troubled category until recently. I wish to challenge the image of masculinity presented in superhero films because, not only are they very traditional, they are so idealized as to be unattainable. I will use images and clips revealing hypermasculine narratives and superhero content. These will be related to mental health implications for young boys who grow up believing that showing emotion is weak, for example, in order to trigger an emotional reaction from the audience. Within this short documentary, there will be a series of short interviews with university students regarding their interpretation of messages contained within superhero media. I am interested in how superhero content might help to shape an individual's childhood, or whether it had any effect at all. The purposes of these interviews will be to emphasize and understand the opinions of those who were adolescents during the time superhero films began to take over the film industry. I will be asking whether superhero films influenced or affected their perceptions of gender roles or behaviors. I am hopeful that these interviews will allow the audience to engage more with my documentary film, as hearing a student's experience of or perspective on superhero media directly is bound to be more moving and stimulating than constant references to academic literature. I intend to edit the film in a way that reflects the subject matter, in the sense that it is engaging and has momentum. I hope to achieve this by not lingering on still images or any camera angle for too long, and by regularly cutting away to new shots. My film will include the use of full colour, as vibrant and colourful imagery is essential to the depiction of a superhero. I may even choose to exaggerate colours for dramatic effect by using overlays or filters. The film will include my own voiceover, however, I will not be visually present. This is because I do not feel it would add anything to the delivery of the arguments put forward in the documentary. In conclusion, the aim of this documentary is to show how superhero media contributes to a cultural expression of proclaimed male ascendancy through its images, plots, and narratives. The film will be edited in a way that is designed to captivate the audience and evoke passionate responses to issues raised. This has been a storyboard for my short documentary film about the harmful implications of hegemonic masculinity in superhero media. Thanks for listening.